Woo! Did you buy a brand new car recently? Do you want to keep it looking like it was new? Because when you have a vehicle that you spent that amount of money on, you want to really preserve it and keep it looking brand new as long as possible. And let me tell you, looking at this sticker, this is something you're going to want to spend that little bit of extra money on to make sure your vehicle is easy to clean, maintain, and looking brand new. In today's video, we're going to go over the products and the process that we're going to need to do in order to ceramic coat this brand new BMW X5. In this series, this is going to be one of the first products that we're going to want to use, which is Optimum No Rinse. And as you've seen in the previous videos that we've had, this is one of your safest ways to wash your vehicle. And then what we're going to do is we're going to be either using Optimum No Rinse as a clay lube, or we're going to use a iron decontamination to make sure that we don't have any iron particulates on the surface. And that is going to help us with Ferrex. And with that, we're going to use a clay towel in order to make sure that we can lightly agitate any type of contaminants that are going to be stuck to the surface and help remove those off in that process. Once we're done with that, we're going to be actually rinsing the vehicle off and grabbing our hyper polish. You're going to need in this your hyper polish, your Optimum DA, and depending on the surface and what you have, if you have light swirls, you're going to want to go with the orange pad for your one step. But if you have no swirls and you just want to clean up the surface and enhance that shine, go with the black pad. It's going to make it simple and easy and give you a beautiful shine at the end of your polishing process. Once we're done polishing the vehicle and wiping off all the polish residue that's left behind, we're going to make sure that everything is prepped and ready. So in that step, we're going to use Optimum Paint Prep to make sure that we have that surgical clean surface. And then after we're done using Paint Prep, then we can get into the actual application of the ceramic coating. And on this vehicle, we're going to be using our professional grade ceramic coating called Pro 3. Opti-Coat Pro 3 is our lifetime ceramic coating. It's going to give you the highest point of chemical resistance, the highest point of depth of color, slickness, and gloss. This coating is a professional grade ceramic coating and is only available to our authorized and certified installers around the world. Now, the process of installing this coating is going to be very similar to the process of installing even our consumer grade ceramic coating, as you know, is Optimum Gloss Coat. So the process isn't going to be different from each other, but the product and the durability is where the difference is going to be at. After going over all these products and the ceramic coating that we're going to install on this BMW X5, I got an idea because we have one more product that's going to give you a little more protection. I'll be right back. We're actually going to install Opti-Coat PPF. Opti-Coat PPF is a paint protection film, also known as a clear bra. This is optically clear. It's a multi-layer polyurethane product, and on the top layer it's infused with Opti-Coat Pro. This product has already come prepared with self-healing properties, hydrophobic properties, and chemical resistance because it's infused with Opti-Coat Pro in the top layer. So this is going to give that ultimate protection on the front against your rock chips and stubborn little scratches that can happen from various items hitting the front end of your vehicle as you drive it and enjoy it. Now that you know what we're going to do to this vehicle in this series, I'm going to get started. Stay tuned. So in the first step, what we're going to do is actually do an Optimum No Rinse wash on the whole entire outside of the vehicle. And as we do that, we're going to take our hands and lightly rub over just to check and see if we have any contaminants. And if we do, at that standpoint, we're going to be able to take our clay, towel and actually clay the surface and make sure that we remove those contaminants. And in that process, we're going to be able to determine if we need to use a mixture of Optimum No Rinse as a clay lube or Optimum Ferrex to break down the contaminants on the surface in conjunction with our Optimum clay towel. And right now we're going to get started and actually start washing this vehicle. I've already mixed up the bucket, but it's actually quite simple. If you're going to do 2 gallons of water, it's going to be 2 capfuls of Optimum No Rinse into your bucket. If you're doing 4 gallons of water, it's going to be 4 capfuls of Optimum No Rinse in that cap into the bucket. Mix it up and you're ready to go. You're not going to squeeze every bit of it out, but you want a little bit of liquid in there. So when you're squeezing it out, just enough. You don't want it running. Maybe a little bit drips there and there, but that's it. We'll get right into it. And as you watch the product on the surface, you'll actually see it pulling itself together. That's because Optimum No Rinse, being a soy polymer, is actually emulsifying, encapsulating, and pulling everything together so that we have a continual lubricity and polymers on the surface to make sure that we can safely wash and dry this vehicle. And after every panel that you do, take your sponge and introduce it back into the bucket. That's going to actually remove those contaminants and dirt from the surface so that we can actually make sure we have a clean sponge touching the surface every single time. Simple, just put it in, shake it around a little bit, lightly squeeze her out. As you're washing a vehicle, the proper way to wash a vehicle is from top to bottom, because if you start from the bottom and you work your way up, you're actually working in a heavier contaminant area, and you can pull those contaminants up, and if they're heavy sediments, you could actually introduce marring. Yes, with Optimum No Rinse, it is a safer way to wash your vehicle, but let's wash smarter versus working harder, and you won't cause these potential damages to the paint on your vehicle. Now that we're done washing the exterior of the vehicle, we're going to go and take with some rubber gloves and Optimum No Rinse as a lubrication, and I'm going to take and feel different areas because I want to make sure that we don't have any heavy contaminants, so we're cleaning in the least aggressive manner versus the more aggressive manner. And all I'm going to do is just a couple sprays just to give some lubricity underneath my gloves so that I can actually feel what's on the surface of the paint. Up here I don't feel anything, but down here I do feel very minor amount of contaminants, and that's because every time you drive your vehicle or brake with your vehicle, there's always something coming off from those front wheels and getting down the side of the vehicle. So we want to make sure that we have an absolutely clean surface with no contaminants so that we have a very good bond with our ceramic coating. The hood feels good. The lower parts of the panels are where I'm feeling most of the contaminants. Nothing on the mirrors. Just the lower panels. But we're going to take Optimum No Rinse as our clay lube with our mixture, and then we're going to take our clay towel and we're going to lightly agitate the surface, because this is going to be our least aggressive way in making sure that we can prep our surface properly. So this is the Optimum clay towel. I'm just going to take and apply a little bit of clay lube to that and just glide it and apply some clay lube as I go. So I'm not using a ton of product, but I'm using what I absolutely need. And after every panel that I'm going to do, I'm going to kind of just reintroduce that back into the bucket to remove those contaminants so I can ensure that we're not actually doing any damage to the surface. You're not pressing when you're doing this. You're lightly just gliding the clay towel over the surface and allowing that clay towel to actually do the work for you. Now that we're done claying the whole entire exterior of this vehicle, we're going to dry it off and then we're going to inspect it to see what our polishing steps are going to be needed to make sure that we have an absolutely beautiful finish before we do the ceramic coating. Now that we're done drying the vehicle, one of the things I want to go over is the importance of a proper drying towel. You want a really nice premium microfiber towel because it's going to really reduce the whole potential of marring the paint or inducing little amounts of damage to the paint. So having a soft style drying towel is very important, high quality, and making sure that you wash them properly. So when you do wash them with cool water, a detergent, and drying them either with no heat or hang drying them. That's very important. Now the next step that we're gonna do is either you can have a flashlight like this, or even turning on the flashlight on your phone. What we wanna do is have some sort of isolated light on the surface so we can do an inspection to see if there's any micromarring, swirls, or any type of defects that we wanna actually refine out of the clear so that when we ceramic coat it, we don't have to go back and get those out and then have to go and ceramic coat it again. So let's do it the proper way the first time. And all I'm going to do is just take this and lightly go over the surface here and inspect a lot of these areas where there's more capability of actually having some sort of damage induced. And what I'm looking for is any type of distortion around the lights that maybe look like a sun bursting, or making sure that it's not an actual clear look at the actual light on the surface that I have going on here. We want to make sure that we have a crisp, clear image, because what we're going to do is we're going to clean that up, refine it just a little bit as an enhancement, and we're going to make sure that we have absolute clean surface from everything. All right, the paint on this vehicle looks good. The customer actually asked the dealership to not wash it, so we were the first ones to do the wash on this vehicle, which is absolutely beautiful, making sure that we didn't have any micro marring or brush marks in the paint. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to actually grab my polisher, the polish, and I'm gonna show you guys the proper steps to enhance the paint and clean it up for the ceramic coating. Now that we got the vehicle all washed and decontaminated, our next step is going to be polishing it. Now, if in fact there were micro marring or swirls in the paint, hyper polish combined with the orange pad is going to yield you 60 to 70% defect removability. It's a very easy one-step polishing to really enhance that finish on your vehicle. But since we don't really have anything on it, the paint is really clear, we just want to clean up the remainder of the contaminants that might be on the surface that we cannot see, so we can make sure that we have proper bonding from the ceramic coating. So we're going to use hyper polish and the black pad. And with that, what we're going to do is we're going to take our black pad, we're going to center it on our polisher here, make sure she's secure. We're going to be running on speed 4. That's going to give us enough speed and workability of the machine. And what we're going to do is we have our pad washer here. Our pad washer is going to be one of the tools that we want to use because that's going to clean up the pad while we're polishing, so we always have a fresh pad for workability. So even though the pad was brand new, I wanted to make sure that there was nothing on the surface, so we cleaned it with our pad washer. The pad washer is designed to quickly clean the surface and the internal parts of the foam on this pad. We want to make sure that this is clean at all times so we get a proper cut and finish with it. And with this pad, we're going to get a little bit of cut and maximum finish. So what we're going to do, now that we have everything set up, we're going to take our hyper polish. We're going to take and do a quick kick on the trigger. 2 sprays is going to evenly prime this pad. So now all we got to do is get right into it. So you're going to tap it out over the surface that you're going to be working and work your area. I like to work at a speed of 1 1000, 2 1000, 3 1000. That's going to give me the proper amount of area where I want to work, because if I really take and polish out too big of an area, then I'm taking and spreading out the abrasives too far. They're not really going to work that much and efficiently. I'm not going to get what I want out of it. So 1 1000, 2 1000, 3 1000 section, and then working up and down and side to side. So that is going to be how we do it. Now that we're done polishing this section, I've already primed the pad. I don't need to re-prime it or clean it at this moment. So just one simple spray of hyper polish onto the pad will be enough to continue on the process of polishing out this hood. Tap her out and get to it. One more spray and continue. So you guys have been noticing I haven't been wiping off as I go. The reason for that is if I leave a little bit behind here, I'm able to see where I've actually worked so I can continue that progress on finishing this vehicle. But when I'm done with half of this hood, I have one more section, I'm going to wipe it down with a damp O&R towel. Then I'm going to mist it over with our paint prep, dry it up, and this half of the hood is prepped and ready to be coated. So now that we've finished this half of the hood, I am going to grab a multi-use style microfiber. I'm going to put that right into my O&R bucket. I'm going to wring it out. We don't want it like a medium to heavy dampness. And all I'm going to do is just simply wipe in a circular motion, no pressure, This is going to break down and wipe that polish residue up and off the surface safely. And with this, you just keep continuing and repeating every section that you work on this vehicle, and you'll be ready to go. And after you got the damp O&R towel done, you just put that right back in your bucket. Take a little bit of the Optimum paint prep, mist it over, grab a clean drying towel, and then dry up. And being that the Optimum products all work together here, we're not interfering with the previous pieces. So everything works in conjunction. They all have a very solid foundation and chemistry to really work together. So that's why I'm able to take and go from an Optimum no rinse wipe down, misting over paint prep, and then say, I'm ready to coat, because the products do not withdraw or pull away from each other. They work together to create an optimal finish, making it more efficient and easier for us to work with. I'm going to get to it. I'm going to get this vehicle all polished out and ready for ceramic coating. All right, so as we finish up here, we've done and gone over this whole entire vehicle. Now in this process, what we've done is we've washed it with Optimum no rinse. We clayed it with an Optimum no rinse clay lube with our clay towel. That removed all the contaminants and prepped us for polishing. And polishing, all we did was give it an enhancement with removing any type of other contamination that we visibly can't see. So what we're doing is we're making sure we have an absolute clean surface with no contaminants to interfere with the impregnation and bonding of Opti-Coat ceramic coating that we'll be applying later on. So now I'm going to finish up with doing our paint prep on this surface. And in the next video, we're going to be going over the installation and application of Opti-Coat Pro 3, our professional grade ceramic coating that is going to protect and make it a lot easier to clean and maintain your vehicle. This coating is actually one of the best on the market because it gives you your highest gloss, highest depth of color, highest chemical resistance, and slickness, while at the same time providing you with the best protection that you can have. Then we'll be applying the Opti-Coat paint protection film that's going to give you the ultimate protection for rock chips and other items that may damage your paint. All right, thanks for stopping by, and like always, like, follow, and share, and I'll see you on the next video.
You happy with that?
Yep. As happy as I'll ever be.